Today is June 5th. Welcome on in to Daily Cards Live here on ClaibsOnline.com, brought to you by Royal Banks of Missouri and Munganess St. Louis Acura, Munganess Burkhart, Alton Toyota. I'm Joe Roderick, joined alongside by Bob Ramsey. Rammer, it's been a while since we've had a chance to talk about a Cardinals victory. Two days off at the end of last week, and then a 3-game sweep at the hands of the Pirates over the weekend.
Yeah.
Looking or reading the quotes from manager Ali Marmol, I think what a lot of fans are thinking, it's not so much disappointment. They're pissed off. They're mad at the results that they're getting in these games.
Well, yeah, the opposite would be even worse. Complacency and apathy would just be non-professional. So, yeah, but I find no solace in their anger.
Yeah, and it's, it comes down to the fact that there have been a lot of close games, a lot of 1-run, 2-run games that they have been on the wrong side of. And that's fine for my 9U team right now, Rammer, but not great for the Cardinals. I guess what would they be, 41U right now when you look at Adam Wainwright's age?
If you find ways to lose, you're a loser. The teams that find ways to win, they're winners.
What are you saying about my 9U team then, Rammer?
I haven't seen them play.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll get the 10U key team out to Ballparks National next year, and then you can evaluate them.
We'll be looking forward to
that
it.
way.
It'll be great.
Cardinals over the weekend.
I'm not saying that to be mean. Anybody that watches the show knows that we want the Cardinals to win, and we shouldn't even have to mention that. But for instance, on Friday, you pull a guy after he's thrown a pitch because of a double steal, and you say after the game, you went to Gallegos because you need a strikeout. Well, of all of your options, he's not a strikeout guy. Mm. I see bringing him in. Maybe you get a ground ball. Maybe you get some soft contact. But even with a base, I know there's more to it that the manager or the players, rather than get into shop talk and inside baseball with a reporter with 8 mics stuck in their face. I get it. But sometimes those explanations just don't fly, and it just shows that it's a struggling program right now, struggling ball club.
The Cardinals did make 2 moves over the weekend. Friday, we talked about Jordan Walker returning to the ball club, and then on Sunday, they called up rookie to make his Major League debut, Luken Baker, who has just been hitting the cover off the ball down in Memphis, and that's really all he does is just hit the ball hard and hit the ball really, really far, and he is a big, big boy, and it's the Cardinals missing practically. I mean, they're starting outfield from the beginning of the season. They're Carlson on the injured list, Nootbaar on the injured list, O'Neill on the injured list. You need to figure out something for that outfield, and now it's basically an all Memphis outfield.
Well, yeah, if you were going to play those guys, but you know what they've been doing is going Donovan Edman, so it's an all infield outfield. Especially if you consider, for fun, we should say Yepes is a first baseman, and then you've got
Jordan Walker's a third baseman. I mean, Jordan Walker just started playing outfield a year ago. So
that's right. So you got an all infield outfield.
Right.
And that's nobody's fault. And so while there have been times that it's hurt the club, in my view, that's nobody's fault. But the Cardinals aren't using it as an excuse, but you've got to find a way to overcome that. Walker being there, I think, is a help. I was surprised Mercado didn't play yesterday. I would expect him in the lineup today. You're going to tell me in a minute. And I think they got to start. I don't think you need to trick the game. Make the obvious choices. Put your players in a position to be successful, and then you just got to go perform.
Yeah, I will tell you those lineups right now, actually, Rammer. Brought to you by the Bootleggin' Tavern and Bootleggin' family, including Second Shift Brewery. Tomorrow night, Second Shift Brewery will have trivia night starting at 7 o'clock, located in St. Louis, and food provided by Bootleggin' Third Gear. You can get those pizzas out there at Bootleggin' Third Gear at 1601 Sublet in St. Louis. all kinds of St. Louis thin crust style pizzas. Try the Mac Daddy, I believe it's called, the one that's the Big Mac style pizza that they have there. They also have the toasted ravioli style pizza there
Wow.
there too. Yeah, it's a just the pizza out there. I haven't tried the Big Mac one yet. I've tried the one that's loaded up all the meats, all the different meats and just the regular sausage. And I could tell you that along with all the barbecue that Bootlegged makes, their pizzas are amazing as well. Here are your lineups tonight. Cardinals and Rangers. We haven't even talked about the Rangers yet. My goodness, wait till we get into that. The Cardinals have Adam Wainwright on the mound against another World Baseball Classic participant, Martin Perez. Tommy Edman is in center, Paul Goldschmidt at first, Nolan Arenado at third, Wilson Contreras is behind the plate, Luken Baker is DHing, Paul DeJong at short, Brendan Donovan at second, Jordan Walker in right, and Oscar Mercado is in left field. For the Rangers, one of the best offenses in all of baseball, if not number one in all of baseball. Marcus Semien is at second. Corey Seager is at short. Nathaniel Lowe is at first. Adolis Garcia is in right. Josh Young, a Rookie of the Year candidate in the American League, is at third. Johan Heim is behind the plate. Mitch Garver DHing. Ezekiel Duran in left. And Leody Taveras is in center field for the Rangers, who are coming off of sweeping the Seattle Mariners and outscoring them 30-9 in those 3 games.
Dude, their team OPS is 980. That's their team OPS.
They're a softball team. They're a softball team. That's what they are.
No, they're better than that because they're not just launching home runs. They got, I think, like their first 6 guys are hitting 300. Now, they have 6 guys hitting 300 or better. Their team batting average is right around, 280, I think. So they're not just a bunch of sluggo softball players hitting bombs. They do hit home runs. The Cardinals have hit more home runs. These guys hit, they get on base, they play good baseball, and man, can they pitch.
Can we talk about Adolis Garcia for a second?
Adolis Garcia is there, for those who don't know, is their cleanup hitter, and he mashes. Now, he's a guy that's more of a guy you were talking about. He's going to have 160, 170 strikeouts, but he'll hit 40 homers and drive in 120.
Yeah. So he defected from Cuba in 2016. As many Cardinal fans are familiar with, he was in the Cardinal system, signed with them in 2017, worked his way up through the minor leagues. In Memphis in the 2019 season, batted at 256, 22 home runs, 71 RBIs in 112 games with the Memphis Redbirds back in 2018, and was called up to the Cardinals in 2018. Played 21 games, got 17 at bats. Rammer, he got 2 hits. So 2 hits in those games. And
never fall in love in March or September.
Okay, and then designated for assignment by the Cardinals in December of 2019, where the Rangers then trade for him. The Rangers bring him up on the big league roster in 2020. I get it. It was a weird season in 2020. Shortened spring training, 60 games. It was a mess in 2020, but in 2020, he played 3 games with the Rangers, 6 at-bats, no hits, 4 strikeouts in those 6 at-bats, and the Rangers outrighted him. They said, okay, sorry, you know what? You could go do something else. Designated for assignment. Nobody in baseball picked him up. They said, you can come back as a non-roster invitee. And ever since then, something clicked, and he's been hitting the shit out of the ball ever since.
Yeah, he was a guy that became not a prospect, low contact, very high power, low contact, but then he started getting old. He kind of aged out of the prospect list. And that's why both the Cardinals and the Rangers kind of like, was this guy ever going to come along? Why are we keeping a 28-year-old on our AAA roster and that sort of thing? So yeah, it was kind of a natural deal. I'm really happy for him. As you know, I have an affinity for Cuban players. I'm happy things did start to click, and this will be the 3rd straight year it appears that his numbers will be getting better. He still is a high strikeout, low contact guy, but when he hits it, it travels.
And the point I went through and read all of that, and I went through everything, is because fans and Rammer, I mean, you and I have been in the business long enough to where we know there are people on the radio who will get mad at anything just to be mad at it.
Yeah.
That there are people who will look at this and say, Mo let that one slip away. How could they let that guy slip away? It's not that. It's not. That's not what it is. He got his chance. Didn't work out with the Cardinals. The Rangers looked at him, said, you know what? Somebody else can have you. Nobody picked him up there, and they said, okay, you can come on back. So not only did the Cardinals and the Rangers both give up on him, the other 28 teams in the league looked at him and said, we're good. So this isn't Randy Arozarena. This isn't or Sandy Alcantara. This isn't one of those situations. This is just a guy who figured it out.
Yeah, he became a non-prospect.
Yes. So
but
again,
I'd still like to have him back.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch him hit. I know he's been at the last couple All-Star games, and he seems like he is just enjoying life when he's out there. And now the Rangers are actually putting together a very good team, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that they have a Hall of Fame manager on their bench now too.
Yeah, they've done a lot of things right. It kind of looked like the Simeon Seager signing last year was going to really be a huge egg on the Rangers' faces in the guys in the front office. It didn't look like it was going to work, but they stayed the course. In fact, they added to it, signing more guys, primarily pitchers, and they stayed with it. It's not going well in San Diego, but it is going well in Texas. And those are the vagaries and the variables of spending money on players.
And I just got this. This is, a notification from DraftKings just came across my phone as we're sitting here. I didn't realize Marcus Semien right now on a 23-game hitting streak for the Rangers right now, plus 180 to get 2 hits tonight in the ball game.
The Rangers were hitting really well. And then as soon as Seager got back into the lineup, I think he's played like 27 games now. He gets back in the lineup, and they absolutely take off. Now, everybody in the lineup is hitting. Everybody.
Yeah. Nolan Gorman with the day off today. They had given him some chances against left-handed pitching, but I think after seeing Rich Hill, I think they might have said, you know what, you can take tonight off.
Well, and that's another thing that I believe is a mistake. You know who you're going to be facing. Give him off against Rich Hill. That's the guy. He should have been off yesterday and playing tonight. Look, they've got reasons. Tony La Russa taught me a long time ago. We, meaning the team, we always have more information than you. You meaning me and everybody in the media. Having said that, it's so obvious that the guy that's doing this and this to a young fastball hitter, sit him against that guy and then let him go hit the guy that comes after you.
I wonder if it's a case of Wilson Contreras desperately needing a day off yesterday. In his last 30 games, Wilson Contreras 117 at-bats, a 179 batting average, only slugging 333. So maybe that's the case where they really needed Wilson Contreras to have the day off yesterday, and Nolan Gorman just had to kind of start by default.
I don't see that, but I appreciate you trying to be reasonable.
Also,
that's not a normal thing for you.
On a sad note, Cardinal World Series champion Roger Craig passed away this over the weekend. A World Series champion with the Cardinals back in 1964. Also, I believe that he also win a World Series as a manager too
with the Giants.
Yes,
but the best thing ever was the actual fight that he and Whitey Herzog got into. I was at the game. It was so awesome. It was fantastic. And we, the little rats in the media, me included, would get a quote at one of the manager's office, scurry down the hallway to the other one, get a reaction, scurry back to the other one. And the best of all, I'll clean it up a little bit. And that is one of us asked Whitey, did Roger put his hands on you? And Whitey goes, he better not have, or I'd have kicked his bleeping ass. Oh my! It was the Cardinals and the Giants. They had 2 fights back in the 80s. They were both off the charts. It was so great. And Whitey and Roger grabbing at each other and pushing each other around right by the backstop. It was so great. And our thoughts to Roger Craig and his family. He was a lifer of a baseball guy and had a marvelous career.
And I apologize. He actually won 4 World Series in his career back in 1955 and 1959 with the Dodgers.
Yeah, with the Dodgers. That's right.
Yeah, that would have been the Brooklyn Dodgers, 1964 with the Cardinals, and then as a manager of the San Francisco Giants in 1984. And I didn't realize this too. I saw Hockman tweet this out earlier. Apparently, he's the one that helped to convince Bob Uecker to use a tuba out in the outfield to catch fly balls.
I was not aware of that, but that's. Next to fighting Whitey, that might be the best thing on his baseball resume.
It is Cardinals and Rangers tonight. For many people, it'll be our first look at the Rangers' new stadium, Globe Life Stadium, which opened up in 2020. But the Cardinals have not been there. So if you aren't really a fan of watching other baseball games, maybe this is your first chance of seeing it, or maybe you remember the 2020 World Series that was played there as a neutral site back that year.
Oh, I've forgotten that. That's right.
Yeah. As well. From the outside, it looks kind of like a giant Amazon building, but from the inside, I've been told it's really, really nice. Really nice ballpark. Another one I'll have to cross off the list. I've
missed a couple of ballparks in Texas. I went to Arlington Stadium, which was, oh my God, it was awful. It was a former minor league ballpark, and it was terrible, and a lot of aluminum bleachers. It was like literally like a frying pan in there. It was brutal.
Who thought that was a good idea? My God. The same people that put slides into playgrounds back in the day too.
Yeah.
That tore the skin off of kids' legs. Hey, Rammer, earlier today I stopped out at Munganass Burkhardt Alton Toyota, and I rented a Sienna van, a 2023 Sienna van. Almost a full tank of gas in this thing, Rammer. Over 500 miles till empty. Over 500 miles till empty. I was told a full tank is 600 miles. We'll get you 600 miles in this Sienna van. It's a hybrid. And then I get it home and I start looking around in the back because I rented it to take it up. We have this tournament in Iowa, baseball tournament in Iowa. Not only does a little DVD player come down for my kid to be able to watch movies as we drive up, the seat has a foot recliner, has the feet of the seat pop up for him too. I mean, this kid's going to be living in style. Yeah. On the drive up there on Friday, a 2023 Toyota Sienna van available now out at Munganass Burkhardt Alton Toyota. This has been Daily Cards Live. We're also brought to you by Royal Banks of Missouri. Those lineups brought to you by Bootleg and Tavern. He is Bob Ramsey. I'm Joe Roderick. We will be back tomorrow with more Daily Cards Live here on ClaibsOnline.com.
From our roots in St. Louis, Royal Banks of Missouri is branching out to continue serving you with our locations in St. Charles, Jerseyville, Granite City, and now in Hannibal, Center, and New London. Royal Banks of Missouri, the community bank in your community.